One thing that was interesting I just wanted to talk about quickly. So unpacking the bizarre sobriety contract in Bam Margera's Jackass suit. So people always tell me I look like Bam Margera. It's fun.
It gives a lot. I don't think you look like him at all.
Neither do I. Really.
I'm like, I literally don't see it.
I get so many people sending me
nose ring, maybe.
Yeah, but so this was. I was looking into this, and I kind of, for some people that are younger, might not realize how important Jackass is, and even before that, Tom Green. So for me, and Danny probably a little bit.
Tom Green was the biggest.
Tom Green was like our guy.
Yeah, he was the best.
And he was not just our guy; he was everyone's guy that was our age. But the Bam Margera thing, he was the original guy. CKY, as funny as any of these guys, and now he's became the reality show guy, and he was going to be in the movie, and they kicked him out. And I did some research to find out why. For anyone who gives a shit about Jackass or Bam Margera, he was the funniest guy back then. Mm-hmm. And basically they go, after a year, he was fired from the production of Jackass. Bam is suing the studio behind the movie and his former collaborators for wrongful termination, breach of contract, emotional distress. He's even suing. So they're at war right now, which I'm like, what a bummer.
Well, it's just because he's on drugs. Basically, they're like, I saw it. They made him sign a thing and we go, we're going to test you for drugs all the time. If you fail, you're out. I'm sure he was a nightmare when he was all fucked up. So they're like, we just need this to have a functioning set.
They gave him a contract.
They gave him a contract because, you've been on a set. Man, shit moves so fast. You can't have some guy being holding up 150 people because he hasn't woken up from his fucking 3-day bender to go film something. It fucks up, it fucks up 20 days in the future. So they're probably like, look, we just have to have this thing. And then they're saying he failed it because he took Adderall. And he's like, I've taken Adderall forever.
And then they're saying, yeah, but you also were addicted to Adderall.
Yeah, you were snorting rails of Adderall and you were becoming hard to work with.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, well, no, I just take Adderall for other stuff too.
Yeah.
But what a bummer. And then they go, everyone bent over back. And then Steve-O, he posted on Instagram after Bam said he was suing. Steve-O goes, everyone bent over backwards to get you in this movie. And all you had to do was not get loaded. You've continued to get loaded. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Steve-O, right?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're all like, yo, we're not fucking 25 anymore. We're all 50. And you're like, the shtick is the thing is it was probably a fun shtick when they were young, just like everything. And then you go, we're all old and.
Well, now he's my friend Gary living in a
tent.
Yeah,
well, it kind of is. He's like, look, you're the one guy who has an actual addiction problem. And it was all funny back then.
We're all sober now.
We're all sober. And it's just it's not that funny. We're trying to just grow up and, we like to fucking have...
And we're all multi-millionaires too, so the nonsense is not as fun.
And we're just trying to make this movie, and you're like, this movie's just not going to get made when you're fucking acting like we were when we were 25, and there's one of us. It was funny when it was all of us. And now
shout out to Bam though, true OG.
Yeah,
the one way to look at it is that, or the other way to look at it is those guys sold out, man. Bam's the only one keeping it real out here. Bam's out here partying, having sex with broads, drinking.
Yeah.
Having some shots with, what's his dad's name again? Phil.
Big old Phil.
And then the other guys are they're all corporate. When Wayne's World goes corporate?
Yeah.
That's
this is Wayne's World.
They're out there hey man, this is serious business. Us putting the sharks, doing the porta potty where you go in the porta potty and we bungee it into the air. Or
when you put the gas mask on and then shit into the end of it.
This is serious business.
Yeah, this is a business, man. This isn't fucking fun and games anymore.
But it does kind of make it, that's the weird part too, where you are kind of hey, this isn't just some thing you can show up drunk to. We're trying to fart into a tube to make us puke.
Yeah, it's Bam's what do you think? Your farts don't smell? They're no, we do. They do smell. I'm hooked up to a hose that's siphoning them into my nose right now. They do smell. We're trying to be professional.
So it's always funny kind of kicking someone out, something like this. And even the pranks, they're some of them are things hey, what we're going to do is we're going to come into your house when you're sleeping and take a fucking piss on your face. It's yeah. And you think you could be drunk for that? Serious business now.
The nerve of this Bam Margera.
So it's such a weird thing. Stuck in a rock and a hard place. It's the classic, are we going to be rock and roll, man?
He's the guy who got kicked out of the band. He goes, you guys used to be fun.
And Steve-O was real bad back in the day. And I guess he's not anymore. And he's
crazy
that
he kind of has a thing now where he just tell like a bunch of his stand up is just telling crazy stories, like outing people that he used to do crazy shit with. Like, it's like all these people he used to just do coke with and stuff back in the day. And that's like his stand up is basically like, yeah, so I did coke with Mike Tyson and here's like a crazy Paris Hilton was there. And like,
that's a lot of Hollywood stand up is like stories. I mean, the same reason late night is those Hollywood stories are a lot of that time me and Jennifer Aniston had an awkward encounter.
Yeah.
If you go to the Improv, like Comedy Store is still like kind of more real stand up. But if you go to all those other places, a lot of it is about like famous interactions.
totally. Yeah.
Because that's all anyone cares about in Hollywood is how famous you are.
Yeah. Like the super famous person you fucking